Today I'm going to show you how to sew an adorable baby lounging sleeping nest. These are great for newborn babies so that wherever mom and dad are, you can bring baby's lounger so that baby can rest. And just as with any baby lounger or sleeping product, make sure to never leave baby unattended. So the link below in the description box will bring you to the printable pattern pieces to make this baby nest. Go ahead and click on that link and print out those pattern pieces. If you don't know how to assemble a pattern that you print at home, I'll put a link in the description box to show you how to do that as well. So once you have your pattern pieces printed out and assembled, you're going to paste or tape them together. You'll have two main pattern pieces. This one is for the mattress of your baby lounger, and this is for the actual big part of the baby lounger. The first thing you're going to do is to get your two fabrics. One is for the front of the baby lounger and one is for the back. Go ahead and keep it folded just like how you bought it at the store with the fold there on the bottom. And you're going to get your bottom baby lounger fabric and place it right on top. Align up the folds down there at the bottom. And then you're going to get your big main pattern piece and you're going to align that pattern piece straight edge with the bottom of your fabric down here where the fold is. You'll see on the pattern where it says cut on fold. That means you're going to cut that fabric out on the fabric fold. So line it up, put a couple pins or clips in place, and then you're going to trace all the way around the pattern piece onto top of the fabric. Now you're going to cut out your fabric where you just traced that pattern piece on top of it. Go ahead and cut it out with all the layers at the same time so that way you get some even cuts. And now you're going to open up your two fabric pieces and lay the fabric with the right sides together. That means both of the top front pieces of fabric, the pretty sides, you want them laying so that they're kissing each other. I like to start aligning my fabric by that fold right there in the middle and then work my way around. Go ahead and pin or clip your fabric in place around the sides and the top rounded edge of your baby lounger. Starting at the flap at the bottom, right where it curves on the inside, you're going to start sewing and sew all the way around your baby lounger using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. In that sewn line at the curve of the other side flap. Do not sew the middle parts together. Here's what it looks like once I have it sewn using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Now I'm going to get my scissors and around any of the curves of this baby lounger, you're going to clip some notches all the way up to your stitches, but making sure not to clip through your stitches. You're doing this so that when you flip this fabric right side out in a minute, your seams lay flat and nice and don't pucker where those curves are. Now you're going to go ahead and flip your fabric right side out. Smoothen out all the seams of your baby lounger with your fingers. I also like to go over it again with a chopstick just to make sure that I poke out any of my seams that I missed. Once you're done with that, go ahead and iron it flat and get out any of the wrinkles and make sure your seams are nice and pressed. Once you have it nice and flat and all the seams look nice and crisp, the next thing you're going to do is make the casing for the cord or ribbon that we're going to insert into this baby nest. You're going to sew using about a 1 inch seam allowance from the first curve all the way to the last curve. Here's what it looks like once you've sewn it. This is what's creating the casing to make your baby lounger a drawstring. Here's what it looks like on the back side. Now you're going to go ahead and grab your baby mattress pattern piece. With the bottom of your baby lounger still facing up, place that mattress pattern piece right aligned with the bottom curve here. Now you're going to trace using a water-soluble pen or a piece of chalk like I'm using here, because this is going to show on the outside of your fabric until it is taken off, and chalk just comes off easy. So you're going to trace around that top piece and this right piece like I'm doing here. Then you're going to flip your pattern so that it's right side facing down and line it up with the curve on the other side of the back of your lounger. Continue tracing so that this makes an imperfect circle all the way around. You're using this as a guide to sew so that you can insert your mattress piece here in just a few minutes. Now you're going to sew following this trace line all the way around. Make sure you leave about a 1 centimeter gap when you start sewing and when you finish sewing. Here's what it looks like once I've sewn it. I used a contrasting thread so that way you guys can see what it looks like on this video. Normally I would use something that would match though. Now we can put this to the side and we're going to make our mattress. I'm using cotton batting. It's normally for quilts, but I'm going to double this up and use it as my mattress pad. Go ahead and trace your mattress pattern piece onto the batting and flip it over and continue tracing it so that it makes the entire mattress piece. We need 2 of these so that way it's a little bit of extra padding for baby. So after I've traced it, I'm going to fold it in half to make it 2 layers and then I'm going to cut them out. A great other thing to use is foam. You can buy that and batting at any craft store, just about, especially any sewing store, and you can get it fairly inexpensive at Walmart as well. Now that I have my batting all cut out, I'm going to sew 2 lines kind of close to the left and the right side of my batting, and that's just to hold these 2 pieces together. Here's what it looks like, nothing fancy. Here's my 2 lines sewn, and the next thing I'm going to do is insert this little mattress pad into that hole in the bottom of our baby nest. To do this, go ahead and fold your pad right in half and just stick it right into that hole opening and get it all flattened out. And it looks like we have a sweet little visitor popping in. Now here I am folding my padding right in half and sticking it through that opening in the bottom and just flattening it out real nicely so that it's nice and snug and fits in there great. Now that you have your mattress pad inside, we're going to fill up the sides using polyfill. I like to use the ultra plush kind. You can use any kind that you feel like it. You can use pillow stuffing. Anything that you have on hand is fine. Go ahead and insert it into the bottom hole on the left and the right side of your baby lounger. You're going to start by pushing that filling all the way up to the top middle of your baby lounger. And here's our visitor back once again. And just continue fluffing it all the way until it's completely filled all the way around your baby lounger tubes. So here is a disclaimer. Now we're going to work on adding our ribbon into the casing that we created earlier all the way around the lounger. I would suggest doing this before you stuff your tubes like we just did. So you're going to get your safety pin, put it through your ribbon or cord. I like using cord better because it's a lot more sturdy, but ribbon is fine and it's what I had on hand. And you're going to attach the safety clip to one end, go to the casing that you created earlier, and stick your safety pin through that casing hole. You're going to feed this safety pin through the entire casing all the way around your lounger until it comes out the other end of your casing. Once you have the safety pin out the other side of your casing, go ahead and take your safety pin off. If you're using ribbon, I would put both ends of your ribbon together, cut the ribbon at a slant, and then you're going to use a lighter just to go over the ends of that ribbon to keep your ribbon from fraying. Now that the ribbon's through, we're going to work on the trickiest part of this baby lounger, and that's closing the bottom of your nest. Go ahead and fold all sides of your fabric under about 1/2 inch, and you're going to pin or clip it together. I like to start at the top, folding it in. Sometimes I like to use an iron, but I don't have my ironing board here for the video, and that makes it stay a lot nicer and neater. Fold it under 1/2 inch all the way across this bottom. And then you're going to go to the bottom fabric, my pink fabric, and we're going to fold that in about 1/2 inch as well. When you go to the bottom, push your batting or your padding, whatever you use, out of your way so that we don't sew it here in a minute. Fold your pink fabric, your bottom fabric, under about 1/2 inch and pin the top and the bottom layers together. You're going to do this across the middle and on the sides. You're going to pin or clip these fabric together on those side flaps there, up until about 1 centimeter away from your ribbon hole. You don't want to pin or clip that ribbon hole together. So you're going to start about 1 centimeter or so away and take your time getting this right, because this is how you're closing your baby nest. Once you have it all pinned or clipped all the way around the bottom, use pins, clips, whatever you have to do to hold it in place. You're going to top stitch, or you can hand stitch this close using a ladder stitch. Because this doesn't show on your finished product, I went ahead and top stitched with my sewing machine instead of hand stitching it. And the last thing that you have to do now is just tie the bottom of your lounger together and adjust your sides. To tie the bottom together, I go ahead and pull the cord or the ribbon that we have there at the bottom so that it scrunches up the siding of our baby nest. And you're going to do the same thing on both sides, making sure your ribbon or your cord is even, and then you're just going to tie it in a tight bow. Now that we've got it all tied, go ahead and adjust the sides by kind of flipping the tubing inwards a little bit, and this is what creates that cute little casing for the baby lounger. You are all finished making this. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get all kinds of free tutorials that go along with my sewing patterns with Aloha Sewing Company. Don't forget to get the pattern pieces that are printable. They are in the link down below in the description box. And just like I said before, never leave baby unattended in your baby lounger or any baby sleeping product. Mahalo and happy sewing.